Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Enjoy the show!
So thank you so much for calling Wholesale Hotline.
Wow, that's great.
Welcome back to Wholesale Hotline number 254. I am Brent Daniels, joined by the flipping genius, Jerry Norton. Jerry, how we doing?
Good. How are you, Brent?
I am excited. We're off to a fast start this year. How about you guys?
Yeah, it feels like the floodgates opened a bit. That or everybody's just ready to work. I don't know what it is.
Well, we always, I'll tell you what, January is one of the big, first and fourth quarters are our biggest quarters typically here in Phoenix. And so they kind of like blend into each other. And then we're like, oh my gosh, we've had a great 6 months. And then, it kind of slows down a little bit once, it turns into 1,000,000 degrees here, which you would think it would be the opposite. Like if people don't have air conditioning and the roof has holes in it and the heat's coming in, they would be more motivated to sell. But it seems like people want to move or sell when the weather's nicer, especially the people that inherit properties or from out of state. They want to come in town when it's decent out and make the decision to sell. And we're getting that a lot, which is really good. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like January's just opened right up. I mean, in my Tulsa, Oklahoma market, we got 5 contracts in the first week or so. It's great. So
what markets are you in?
Well, heavily in Tulsa, Orlando, Polk County with Lance, which by the way, I think we've started PPC with you. So we're pretty excited to test that out.
Awesome.
And we're fired up on that. So we're going to be starting that there in Orlando. And then Winston-Salem is my other big one. And, some others, like I still do Detroit and some other places, but right now those are sort of the key ones we're focusing on this year.
How'd you pick those markets, Jerry?
It wasn't the market, it was the operator. So those are some Joe Homebuyer partners, and just happened to be that's where they were at, and I really liked them, and we aligned well, and the partnership made sense. So yeah.
So how does that work? You own the Joe Homebuyer franchise. You bring in somebody that has experience, that batteries come included. They got a big motor. They know what they're doing. Because I'm sure that you've had some that just didn't make it and some that do.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference between that? And maybe some people in the audience or listening to the podcast wants to partner with you in one of these markets. How would they put their best foot forward in approaching you for something like that?
Yeah, I mean, the real value that I'm bringing is on the accounting, the finance, advisory kind of role, high level connections. So like connections like with you to bring that in. I typically can get really good pricing with vendors and things like that. So that's kind of the main value that I bring. But there's no mistake. The operator's got to be on the ground, going on appointments, doing the calls, doing the follow-up, doing the heavy lifting. So it's worked well and made a lot of sense with some, not so well with others, because, you're giving up some share with me. And, a wholesale business is already tough to operate, add more people into the picture and it can be even tougher. But, like you've done, I know you've done this as well. I think the model's fantastic. I love the heart and soul of Cody and Mark over there. And I feel like they're building a world-class organization. And so it may not be a good fit necessarily for me to partner with you in your market, but if you're already operating, like if you're a solo operator, maybe doing a couple transactions a month, they may be a really good fit to go to that next level, because the model is very much focused on building a business, building a team, getting your marketing channels dialed in, and so they bring that operational side really well, I think.
Yep.
So, and again, I know you've referred some of your students that would make a good fit there, and they've signed up, and I try to do the same thing. So we're checking out.
I was the third franchise, and I bought it because I saw, and Jerry, you know, we had this mastermind here called the Go Giver that we would go to Dave and Buster's every single month, and we'd get together, and it was Pace, and it was Jamil, and it was Cody Sperber, and it was you, and it was me, and it was, I mean, so many incredible,
the Batch guys before even Batch was born. You know,
Jesse and Evo and Steve Trang and just everybody, right? I mean, and we would get together, and we were in there would be some guys that we didn't really recognize, but they would own Homevestor franchises. Right. And Homevestors is the We Buy Ugly Houses. And I was like, so, and Pace owned a franchise, and he sold it for a ton more than he bought it for. And I always thought that was very interesting that you buy, there's only a certain amount of franchises in certain markets. And once they get big, then it's an asset, right? It's an asset that you can trade and sell. And it depends on how big of a brand that you build it in that market. And so I thought that was really cool, as opposed to, mine was Offer Arizona, right? I was just Offer Arizona, and I thought Joe Homebuyer would be a great franchise to own, which is really cool. So got in there, and that's been really fun. We should bring those guys on. Listen, I want to go through some thoughts here. And I went through this on my Wednesday show, but I wanted to kind of crack open our show, and hopefully this inspires some people to ask some questions. It inspires people to keep the focus on income producing activities and the fact that, you know, lead generation solves all problems in this business, right? Conversations and offers solve every single production problem you have in a real estate wholesaling business, the real estate agent business, the real estate flipping business, the real estate buying and holding business. It all comes down to making sure that you have conversations and offers. So I want to keep these 10 words and thoughts in front of us for 2025. Number one, the word opportunity. There are more opportunities for each of us to succeed at a high level because the number of wholesalers participating and competing is the smallest we have seen in 3 years. 3 years, Jerry. You go to Google Trends, you type in Google Trends, and you type in wholesale real estate. You will see the tippity top peak of people interested in wholesaling real estate was December 2020. Since then, it has gone down 70%, 67% technically, but it was down to 22% of the search volume in December 2024. All right. Wow. This is wide open. This is,
and why do you think that is, Brent? Why do you think that popularity has gone down?
Text message marketing, Jerry.
Okay.
When the carriers clamp down on text message marketing, everybody that got in because they can send out, you know, a bunch of text messages just evaporated, right? That business model evaporated. Some of the biggest companies that you see that were doing millions of dollars a month in wholesale real estate deals, gone overnight. And that's what happens when you only have one leg to your stool. That's it.
How much do you think, I mean? Brent, how much do you think, regulation, and let's call it perception, wholesaling as a model, the perception in the marketplace? Do you think that's played a role in that?
I think regulation on some, but whenever I'm coaching somebody, Jerry, whenever anybody comes into the Rhino Tribe, that the conversation is not, oh, I can't, I didn't think that I could do this. The question is, where should I do it? I live in Illinois. I don't have a real estate license. How do I do it? I live in South Carolina. I can't wholesale there. Where can I do it? So there's so many options to be able to do this business with just a phone and a computer, right? That I don't think that it's done as much damage as the fact that the carriers started blocking text message marketing, and then the lawsuits around text message marketing really started taking off, and that all of those platforms, look at all of those platforms, really, 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 really restricted how much you can send out, and people had to build real skills, Jerry.
That's really the bottom line is when you took away text blasting, which was so cheap and so easy and very effective for the cost, you take that away. Now you're back to fundamentals where you have to have like quality conversations with people. And I think what it did is it just introduced this idea that you're going to have to work a little bit to do the business, which then decreased, I think, some of the sizzle of wholesaling for a lot of people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And then each day be looking for potential opportunities to build your business, but be careful of many of the magic tools, quote unquote, that are being offered. And that's the truth. Like there's like AI and all this other things. If you talk to a TCPA attorney and tell them, hey, I'm going to AI text blast every real estate agent because it's a commercial number, they'll tell you you're about to be sued.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't do it, let alone homeowners. You know what I mean? And so don't look for the magic tools. Just look to have really good quality conversations on a daily basis, and you cannot lose. And build it like this is something that we talk about, Jerry. Everything multiplied by 0 is 0. Okay. You can have 10 million times 50,000 times 2 trillion times 0 is 0. If all of a sudden you're building your whole business on like what we saw with text message marketing, and then it disappears, your business goes to 0. If you don't do business the right way and you end up in trouble, it goes to 0. So build it on really great foundations. It's the principles that we've talked about over and over and over again on our YouTube channels, on the podcasts. Is it easy? No. Is it simple? Absolutely. It is simple. It's just not easy. And that's what really separates the people that survive. And listen, 99%, Jerry, 99% of businesses don't last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're so right, Brent. I mean, if you really think about a wholesale operation, every successful wholesaler I know that operates consistently at a high level, they are masters at lead gen, and they put effort into that every single day. And lead gen just means you're getting in front of quality sellers that are motivated to sell at a discount. And so if you can look back at your day, you know, when your head hits the pillow, if you can say, man, how many quality conversations did I have with sellers today? And if you can, you know, look yourself in the mirror and say, I had a decent amount or a fair amount or enough or a lot of quality conversation with sellers, you're doing the business. If you do that every single day, you will not lose. You will win in this business. So that's the question everyone needs to be asking themselves. What do I need to do every single day to have these quality conversations with sellers? Because if you just play the game, play the numbers game, the stars are going to align. You're going to be talking to the right person at the right time. You don't even need that. I mean, sales skills are helpful, but really it's just being at the right place at the right time. You know, we don't create motivation. We find motivation. So if you have those conversations enough times, someone's going to raise their hand and say, yes, I'll take that cash offer for the speed and convenience you're offering me. Yes, I'll take that. And so like the problem we have here, Brent, is so many people are on the sidelines and they're wondering why the game's not fun or they're not winning the game. Well, you're on the sidelines. Yep. You can't win the game on the sidelines. You got to get in the game. And once you're in the game, you got to play offense, which is lead gen. You win the game on offense, right? Yep. So create those leads. However, you've got to do that. Have those quality conversations. I love that.
And there's more. It's more than ever. I'm telling you, the word opportunity needs to be number one. Number two, enthusiasm. We must raise our level of enthusiasm for this business to a minimum of 8 out of 10 daily. The best way to do this is to fall in love with this business. Real estate is ever changing. We can't control the market, but we can control our emotions.
Powerful.
Right? Mm-hmm. In Theo, the life force coming out, that's the Latin part of enthusiasm, and it is the absolute truth. It is a magnet. If you want to build a good, strong, long-lasting business, you need to bring enthusiasm. You need to have you need to be the magnet that all of a sudden you walk into the room and everybody's feeling better. Everybody's, you know, they kind of brighten up. They stand a little bit taller. They understand that this can be exciting. Why would we go into a day just being all down and kind of like a dour and just, oh, well, you know what I mean? Like there's going to be tough days, but we control our emotions, and emotions are our biggest expense in this business.
Yeah. You know, I truly believe, Brent, that money flows where energy goes. And so if you have low energy, you're going to attract low money. Like it's just, you're not going to attract the kind of thing you want in your life. And if you look at someone like Brent or Jamil or Pace, or if you watch any of my calls, you can feel the passion, right? Like I'm I'm empathetic when I need to be. I'm funny when I need to be. I'll challenge when I need to. But you can see and feel that I'm there. I'm connecting, and I'm loving the process. It's not a drag. It's not, oh my gosh, I got to call somebody else. If you're feeling that way and you're bringing that energy, it's going to come across, and you're going to detract the quality client you're looking for, right? And if you have a team and you're not on the phones, or you don't like the phones, or you have a negative perception of the phones, you're transmitting that to your team, and they're going to feel the same way. You've got to bring that energy to having these conversations with sellers, and it'll be amazing, that enthusiasm.
It's interesting. I watched this. There was like a HBO Sports thing, and it had Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, and they were talking about their favorite players. And they were talking about the players that did the best, that were just absolute superstars, whether they're at Alabama or the Patriots. And they said the number one commonality was they loved practice. They loved practice. They loved it. They felt they had enthusiasm for all of the grinding and all of the drilling and all of the camaraderie and all of the doing it over and over and over and over. And then they got to perform it every single weekend. And it's the truth. I'm coaching these kids that are 7, 8 years old, and you see the kids that really love practice and the kids that are just kind of screwing around or whatever else. The kids that love practice are the ones, scoring the touchdowns and the goals and running, circles around the other kids. And it's the absolute fact. So fall in love with the process. Market statistics. You become a market expert when you can share with the potential seller and buyer what's going on and what's taking place in the market. You're creating value when you can express a strong knowledge of the market, months of inventory, comparable sales, financing options, and a thorough understanding of the probate and foreclosure processes are essential.
You got to become an expert in your market. Brent, I call this investing in your market. So many people, they don't want to take the time to learn their neighborhoods, learn their values, learn the trends, what's working, what's not working, what the buyers want, what they don't want. I mean, guys, the better you know your market and the more of a market expert you are, then the easier all of this comes. It's easier to put deals together. It's easier to sell deals to buyers. The whole thing just becomes so much better when you invest in learning your market. Like I tell Brent, I have this exercise I tell people, take a list of 6 months worth of sold homes in an area. Take a town or a zip code, whatever, and print it off. And you're going to have hundreds of properties, maybe thousands of properties. Yep. Put them in your maps or jump in your car and drive every single one of them. And you drive it, you pull up to the front of the house, you pull out that sheet, you look, okay, it sold for this. It took this many days on market. This, here's the description. I'm looking at it. I'm making a mental connection. Why did this house sell for that price? What can I gather here? What can I understand? Okay, I see I'm in this neighborhood. This neighborhood changed from that neighborhood. Across the street over there, oh, there's a school district that play. Why don't you invest in your own market to become an expert at this game?
If you're unsure what you could sell a deal for, you're not going to do as much lead generation. You're not going to go out every single day and try to find somebody that wants to buy and sell a house because you're just not confident about the numbers. That's why getting somebody local, finding somebody that's done this for a long time, getting educated by somebody, get buy prices from a Keegley franchise or whatever else, work with people that really understand the numbers and get that experience just installed into your business right away, and you're going to be more confident and you're going to do more lead generation without a doubt.
Brent, one of the before you switch on, One of the fastest ways is to just talk to your buyers. When you take a deal to market to a buyer and the buyer says, I'm not interested, you should be saying, okay, well, why not? What is your number? Why don't you like it? What would you pay? Why would you not say, well, what about this comp? What about that comp? Oh, I didn't know about this. They'll educate you so much if you're willing to ask and have the conversation and find out.
I have Eugene Latson. He was on my show last Wednesday. He talks to between 275 and 300 people a day, Jerry. He's calling 13 hours a day. He's an absolute savage. I've never heard of anybody like this. I mean, nothing like it. I mean, he doesn't do it every day. He usually shoots for 100 new contacts, but he pushes himself. He's a wrestler. He's absolutely incredible. But he went down. He really learned the probate and inherited process, right? And he talked to closing attorneys. He talked to the title and escrow company. He watched like a 90-minute video breaking down the process on YouTube. And now this is his bread and butter. Yeah. I mean, of the I think he did just under $700,000 last year. And I think half of them were probates and inherited, because he knows how to educate people on the process.
Yeah.
And if you know that, then you can go confidently and have those conversations. It's awesome. Number 4, a strong and consistent plan. Decide on your plan and implement. How are you going to generate leads in 2025? Direct to seller. You're going to focus on dispo. Are you going to build agent and network referrals? Are you going to make offers on the MLS? Are you going to bid at the foreclosure auctions? Are you going to get inbound versus outbound leads? Are you going after houses, land? Are you going after multifamily? Are you doing creative deals? Or what market are you going after? What price range? Are you going to do flips? Are you going to just wholesale? Are you going to do novations? Pick a plan. All of that is like word salad, and you got to figure out what you're going to do, because if you try to do all of these, especially when you're starting to build momentum in your business, it's going to go nowhere. You're just going to go in circles and you're going to get frustrated.
So true. I love this, because this is that clarity, right, Brent? Like, if you don't have clarity, then what you're doing is you've got shiny object syndrome, and you're chasing the latest and greatest thing you just learned about. And what ends up happening is you end up being, okay at a few things, but not really good at any one thing. And so the more clarity you can get on what you're doing, and then go deep, go deep on one of these marketing channels, get it really dialed in, and then maybe introduce a new one if you want. But like, put in the work and invest the time into the thing, and get very clear about it and commit to it and really go after it.
Love it, guys. By the way, I am starring your questions. We're going to get to them after this. We're just warming up here. So make sure that you put your questions in the chat, and we'll get to it. I know we've got some PPC questions. We've got some great questions going on here. We'll get to them. Number 5, professionalism. Look, act, and speak in a professional manner. Understand the regulations in your market and discover the hidden opportunities. Guys, nobody is keeping you more updated on certain regulations in certain areas like Jerry. What is it? Wholesaleregulations.com?
Yep, that's it.
Wholesaleregulations.com. It's a breakdown of everything there. Look for the opportunities there, but also answer your phone, respond to text messages quickly, respond to DMs quickly, respond to your title and escrow officer quickly. Like, all of these things add to your level of professionalism. And the more professional that you are, the more people are going to want to do business with you. And it's not just the buyers and sellers. It's all the people that are involved in the transaction. If you really look at how many people get paid in a real estate transaction, it is incredible. And you need to be the pinnacle of that professionalism, because you're the one that is putting this all together. You are the source.
Yeah, Brent, can I read you a text I got today? This is from Hayden Albert. I don't know if you know him. He's a big wholesaler in South Carolina. And, we've texted a few times, and he said to me, I've seen so many people leave South Carolina. This is because of regulation.
Yep.
My marketing costs have gone down significantly. We're snatching up a much larger percentage of the market now. We've been implementing the takedown method for a while. It's been what separates the real players from the wannabes. Okay, so this is someone pivoting, right? So something happens in his market. He was heavy into assignments. Regulation comes in, and what is he doing? Is he quitting? Is he leaving? Is he giving up? No, he's pivoting. He's just pivoting. And when everyone's running for the hills because it's harder now and there's some friction, he's doubling down and doing even better than ever.
What is the takedown method?
That's just wholesale, really. Like you're going to buy it and then resell it versus do an assignment. So, it's because when you buy it now, you're avoiding all the regulation. What?
You need money for that.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's it. Get some money for it. If you buy right, there's lenders. We're running a pilot program right now, Brent, where we're doing 100% on takedown deals. Now it's got to be a deal. It's got to fit, right? But we'll give 100% of the money. You buy it, you trash it out, you put it back up for sale, you sell it. We're making on average 2 to 4 times more doing it that way than traditional assignments. So it's better anyway in a lot of cases, right? So, and my point just here is like Hayden's taking a market that brought regulation in, and he's doing better than ever because he's willing to adapt.
Oh yeah. It's like Illinois, the first one that was the first domino in like what, 2018 or something?
2018.
They're like, oh, you have to have a real estate license. And everybody's like, oh my gosh. And then I go to a mastermind in Tulum, Mexico. And there's this group there that's in Chicago, and they like tripled their business overnight.
Yeah.
Because they had a real estate license.
Right. Yeah. Just that alone. Yeah.
What? You know what I mean? And so wait, real quick, you're given 100% financing for takedown deals nationwide, or how does that work?
Yeah. Now we got to be able to comp it, because we're only going to fund it at 100% if the acquisition is at 70% of the current as is value.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not going to fund a bad deal. It's got to be a good deal. But yes, we'll do 100% funding. There's a few other things we look at, but yeah. And so stop telling yourself, oh, I don't have the money. That's just an excuse. There's always money. The money chases the deals. Get good deals, and the money's easy. I put it this way, Brent, I've never not gotten funding for a deal that was a good deal.
Right.
I've not gotten funding for bad deals, but not good deals. Like I've always gotten the funding for good deals.
What was your question? Do you have agents that then list the properties?
Yeah. So then I do a 1%.
MLS?
I do a full service list at 1%. I tap into Real, since I'm a Real broker. So I just tap into the network wherever it's at. I can always find one that'll do a 1% listing. I still give, 2.5 to 3% to a buyer's agent if I need to. And baked into the numbers is all your costs, your closing fees, your commissions, all that, and you resell it.
Awesome. Number 6, repetitious boredom. It takes more time, more conversations, more effort than ever. And on top of that, it's not always a lot of fun. But here's the but. It also puts you far ahead of your competitors. Fall in love with repetitious boredom every single day. When are you going to have conversations with property owners? When are you going to have it? And listen, if you don't have the budget for them to call you, you have to go out and talk to them, whether that's knocking on their doors or giving them a call or whatever it is. You need to be proactive if you don't have a budget. If you don't have the budget, you got to be proactive. That's it. And that takes repetitious boredom. It's the same thing over and over and over, and drilling over and over and over, more than ever. It used to be one, and I will say this, on a really, really, really good inherited or probate list, or something that's got kind of a shorter timeline, maybe a code violation, maybe something's going on at this property, it's usually 1 out of 200 to 300 conversations you'll get a deal. But those lists are small. And that's not going to keep you, it's not going to build a robust business. So when you start expanding your lists to these bigger lists, like a tired landlord list, where, they don't live in the property, they've owned it for a while, it's older, there's a lot of those. It's 1 out of 700 conversations if you are making the call yourself. If it's a VA, you could times these numbers by 5 to 10 times. It truly is. But if you're doing, which I highly suggest that you do, because you'll build just rock solid communication skills, which is the only way we get paid. That's the service. That's the value that we give in a wholesale deal, is our ability to effectively communicate. Well, go talk to as many people as possible, get as many reps as possible, so that you can get really, really, really good and actually build a skill. This is a skill-based business. Before you start hiring people, you're in the self-employed quadrant. You're not in the business owner quadrant. You don't own a business. You don't own systems. You don't have all that. You have to build a skill first of finding discounted property, effectively communicating with those property owners, and getting them to commit to a purchase agreement.
Yeah. Brent, can I add to this quote here about boredom? This is James Clear in the book Atomic Habits. He said, the greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom.
Yep.
We get bored with habits because they stop delighting us. The outcome becomes expected. And as our habits become ordinary, we start derailing our progress to seek novelty.
That's right.
So, the producers in this business, they put the reps in. It's pretty boring. It's the same thing again and again and again. And so people leave that safety net to seek novelty when, man, it's a lot of this is just repetition. Just keep at it and you get the consistent results.
Yeah. Get the fundamentals down and then look for options. People are looking for options before you have the fundamentals. There's certain things without a doubt that I think that we can all agree on. All right. If you talk to enough people and you make enough offers, you will be successful. Does anybody disagree with that? Anybody in the chat? Anybody anywhere disagree and have proven that? Because the other way is proven time and time again. But I can't guarantee that this type of tool and that type of strategy and this and that is going to be successful. But I know everything boils down to conversations and offers. It comes down to talking to people. If you talk to people, that's why I'm wearing the TTP shirt. TTP shirt. You talk to people, you win every time. It's undefeated. It's undefeated. 7, distractions. Ask yourself, what distractions are getting in the way and what distractions do I allow to keep my business from moving forward? Then ask yourself, what are my highest income producing activities? Just do those, remove the rest. What do you think the biggest distractions are, Jerry? Guys, put it in the chat. What are the biggest distractions?
Yeah, love to hear what you guys think. What are some of your big distractions? I think people feel like they got to get CRMs and tools and business cards and LLCs. And, it's so easy to lie to ourselves that we're setting up our business or we're getting organized or, I think YouTube's a massive distraction. Maybe just watch Brent's channel and my channel, but that's all you need to watch, after that. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like you can use learning as a massive distraction. If you're watching YouTube videos or any type of educational process, if that's not enhancing the action you're already taking, then it's a distraction. If you're learning something and it's not building on action you're already taking, then you're wasting your time and you're lying to yourself that you need to learn one more thing before you're able to do something. It's not true. You know enough right now. Everybody listening to this knows enough to pick up the phone and start having conversations with sellers and putting offers in front of people. You know enough. Now get better at it, but you know enough to start doing that.
I would say, Jerry, and this is just my schedule because I'm kind of like more of a night person than an early morning person, but you could flip-flop this however it is. But I think some of the most important time in my schedule is from like 9 o'clock to about 10:15, 10:30 p.m. And that's when I'm reading. That's when I'm studying. That's when I'm really, pouring into the most important and the most valuable real estate we have, which is the 6 inches between our ears. And listen, you have a choice. You have a choice to be entertained during that time or to be educated during that time. And I'm telling you, the people that I see that are super focused on personal development, on continuously educating themselves and sharpening their skills and putting really good stuff in. Remember, books and really good podcasts and really good YouTube instruction, that is the plunger that plunges out all the crap that we are thrown at us all day long, right? It really is. And if you imagine, this is what I imagine, Jerry, when I'm reading a great Earl Nightingale book, you're right, or a great Bob Berg or something like that. I imagine them like presenting it to me. Right. I imagine them just sitting there and we're going through and they're just pouring in all of these ideas, almost like I'm at a seminar or I'm just sitting in their office or whatever else. Right. And it makes it more exciting. It makes it more like I'm focused more on it. And I've always got a highlighter, always have a highlighter, and I'm going through it and I'm dog-earing the great pages. I'm starring certain things and I'm just trying to really, keep all of the positivity as much as possible. Plunge it all out, go to bed, wake up, crush the day. You know what I mean? When is your time, Jerry? Because you prepare like more than anybody. I mean, your YouTube is so clean and so professional and so well thought out. And that's not just you going, oh, this is my experiences. This is you also like educating yourself on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be a perpetual learner. I like you, before bed, I have to do some reading time. And I think you've got to be reading at least 15 pages a day, every single day, without fail, no matter what. Find that time. I like to do it right before bed. I like to do some of that me time, gym time, where I clear my head and get the endorphins going. I like to do that in the morning. But throughout the day, Brent, like you said, I live in my notes on my iPhone. I'm constantly jotting down ideas that come to me, things I'm learning, ways I can implement new things. And it's like my action sheet. It's just the simple notes app in the iPhone.
Yeah.
But I'm always using that as a tool to take something and act on it in the moment, in the day, so that I'm constantly pushing myself to new levels. Love it.
What time of day do you do it? Sorry, I was looking at the comments.
So my reading time is like you. It's right before bed. So 10:30,
Yeah.
But then I try to get up in the morning, and I like to own my mornings. I don't actually start working usually till around 10 a.m., sometimes later. So that whole and I get up fairly early because I've got kids that are up early, whether I want to get up or not. So, I'm East Coast, and sometimes Puerto Rico, it's another hour even further. So the rest of the world's not even up yet.
Yep.
So I try to have that concentrated time in the morning because things don't get hectic yet, and that's where I focus on my relationship with my wife. And I try to fit a lot in during that time. Mm-hmm. But, the point is you guys got to find that time, and you got to really dedicate to make that the time for you to really enhance your skills before you get into the grind of the day.
But once you like sink your teeth into like a really good topic or a really good thought or a really good leader that you just, it's like you're excited for that time. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, oh man, I got to go to the Suns game tonight. I got to, I'm going to miss out on this, time, or, oh, I've got this thing or that thing. And I miss it on some level. You know what I mean? Just sitting there. Yeah. Good book, comfy chair, highlighter, freaking my Stanley filled with just ice cold water after just doing 25 minutes in the sauna. Come on.
Yeah, that's great.
Does life get better?
No, that's great.
I'll tell you what, this is awesome. Number 8, work ethic. Understanding the difference between the strength of a productive schedule and following that schedule versus being caught up in busy time, which does not bring deals to you. It keeps you away from attracting more deals. Work ethic is understanding the difference between the strength of a productive schedule and following that schedule. Guys, we make this up. What is the perfect schedule? What is the perfect schedule that you want? You ever do that exercise, Jerry? You ever go to like a seminar or like a mastermind? They're like, okay, close your eyes. I want you to envision the perfect day, right? How does it start? What happens? What are you doing? What happens next? What do you do for lunch? What are you eating? Who are you hanging out with? All these things, right? And it's an awesome exercise, but we don't deserve that until we build that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess you could live out in the middle of nowhere and live very, frugally and not have to, produce a lot. But I said this on my show last week, and I truly believe it. Everybody watching this, everybody that listens to this, everybody that participates in the show Monday after Monday after Monday or listens to it, we're built different. We have different brains. We just do. We want more. We expect more out of life. We want to challenge ourselves. We don't want to always be comfortable. We get itchy when we're too comfortable. You know what I mean? I don't know why. We're just born that way. It's something in our brain. That's just, we're freaks. Welcome to the freak show, everybody. We're all freaks. You know what I mean? And so we need to have that outlet. We need to have that. So are you building a schedule as you're looking at 2025? Are you building a schedule that doesn't keep you busy, but it keeps you productive? That's really the question. You know what I mean? And maybe you're doing it part-time. Maybe you're doing it in your lunch break. Maybe you're doing it on the weekends. Maybe you're doing it in the evenings. Can you time block? And how good are you at following the schedule that you set up because you're a freak? You don't have to do any of this. You could go to work for somebody and you could get a job. It'll happen. You could survive. You could do what you want to do. You could even thrive. Who knows? right? But for some reason, you want to build the skills of wholesaling real estate or flipping real estate or owning real estate. What's your schedule look like? We're freaks, Jerry.
I remember talking with Pace, and Pace was saying how he can tell the effectiveness of a person if just by looking at their calendar. So like, let me see your calendar. He'll look at their calendar, and that calendar will tell you if you're organized, because if you really do value your time, then you're going to time block out all areas of your life to make sure that you're putting the heavy rocks in first, and you're doing the things that really matter, and you know what's coming up, you know what you're planning, and there really is no other way to really be effective if you don't have a really good schedule and know what your plan is.
That's right. Love it. Number 9, perseverance. On average, it takes 7 years of focused, consistent, disciplined work to become a millionaire in this business after taxes. Remember, guys, you have a business partner, okay? You absolutely have a business partner, and it's called the U.S. government.
The IRS.
It's called, that's the rent that we pay to live in this country, right? That is, what keeps our society running. All right. And it's on average, I tell everybody, you have to grind unbelievably for 7 years to become a millionaire in this business after taxes. I mean, people could make $1 million, but after marketing costs, after administrative costs, operating costs, taxes, I mean, you're taking home 200 of that. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah. And then what? And then you spend it on things, you go places, you buy, a new house, a new car, these other things. It takes a long time. It takes a really, really, really long time. And anybody that tells you it doesn't is just trying to get you to buy something. Right? What do you think, Jerry? Is 7 years too aggressive, or do you think that that's close?
I mean, I thought it would be longer than that, but that's great. 7 years, guys. I mean, I think about it this way, Brent. In 7 years is going to come and go no matter what I do. So in 7 years from now, where do I want to be? Do I want to be the same place I am today, or do I want to be somewhere else? Well, where I'm at in 7 years is based on the decisions I make right now today. Yeah. And, I love when Trump said, if you're going to think anyway, you might as well think big, right? If you're going to show up and provide and make money, might as well go all the way. Might as well make it as best you can, become the best at it that you can. And that's what I tell my kids. I say, kids, I have a responsibility to make as much money as I possibly can, because I've already decided that I'm going to show up and provide for this family. So why not provide the best of my ability? I mean, I'm showing up. I mean, I'm going to go do it anyway. Why not give it my all? Why not take that risk and really put it on the line? Why not try to be the biggest I can and play at the highest level I can? Because I'm going to anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like I got my options are not at all or big. Lots of people play life small, and that's a choice. But if I'm going to play life, I want to play it big.
I love it. I like this, and I want to touch on this from Jay. Taxes, if you are smart, then you know how to have zero tax liability. Zero. Yeah, you have to buy 8 times your income every single year in real estate to pay no taxes. And by the way, they're going to audit you. Oh, they're going to audit you. And if you do advanced appreciation, you have to keep that property for that whole time, over 20 years. If you sell it, you owe it back.
It's called recapture, guys. It's called recapture.
It's called recapture. And listen, you absolutely can. Pace is a beautiful, shining example of what you can do by buying a lot of real estate. He's the only one that I know that's done that out of all of these gurus. Truly. We have a lot of masterminds. There's one guy that is not paying taxes. It's the truth. I mean, don't guys, do not do this business, buy real estate because you think you're going to not pay taxes. Yes, it's a benefit, but you better have a lot more reasons to buy real estate than just not paying taxes. That is the last one. The very last. Talk to a really good CPA. Talk to a tax attorney. Talk to a tax attorney and ask him about owning real estate and not paying taxes. Yeah. Watch how that conversation goes. Okay. You have to own you have to buy 8 times your current income every single year to not pay it. Yeah. You do. And it's fractional, and it depends on how you depreciate it.
And I mean, this could be turned into a real debate, so we'll keep it short. But Brent, owning assets to offset tax liability is one strategy, but where most people don't understand this until they're neck deep is that owning assets is only a value if you can manage those assets well.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of effort goes into asset management to do that effectively. Otherwise, all you did was finance your taxes because you have assets that bleed every month.
That's right.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people will buy the asset. I know I have a friend who, when the jet was at the super depreciation, so you could write off the entire purchase of the jet.
Yeah.
He owed $5 million. So he bought a jet. Instead of paying Uncle Sam, he bought a jet. Sounds great, right?
Yep.
The jet cost him $300,000 a year to maintain. And he hates it. His wife won't fly in it because it's uncomfortable. It sits in the hangar and it costs him $300,000 a year. So I said to him, so in other words, you financed your tax bill. You didn't actually offset it. And he's like, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yep.
Because now you own an asset. You got to take care of the asset, right? So people misunderstand that owning assets isn't just this thing. It's an entire operation to own those assets and manage them well.
Yep. And get rich before you get wealthy. You know what I mean? Like build an actual business that's going to kick off incredible cash flow without you having to put your time into it, and then start thinking of these tax strategies. I see all these people, they're making good money, and then they go and buy a fourplex in Indianapolis or Memphis or Detroit or something like that. And then all of a sudden, all of their attention is on this because nobody's paying rent. They have to do evictions and it's a whole mess. And then all of a sudden their attention, listen, time management's awesome, but it comes down to attention management. Where is your attention being drawn? That is the absolute fact. All right. And if you've got kids, if you've got a significant other, if you've got dogs or chickens or a house that you have, you want to work on, or some hobbies that you have, I'm telling you, you're not going to have enough at the end of the day, enough attention to be able to really protect those assets. So make sure you're in a really good position. Your schedule's wide open, and then start buying the assets. That's what the truly wealthy do. Watch the people that build real businesses. They are focused on those businesses. They asked Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. Bill Gates' dad asked Bill Gates and Warren Buffett to write down one word that is their secret to success. They both wrote down focus. Both of them. Both of them.
That's
build
cool.
up your machine. And then once you've got that thing going, it's kicking off cash flow, or you sell that machine and you've got a bunch of cash, then go out and buy all the assets that are going to give you that passive cash flow. I'm telling you, because it's a huge, huge distraction for sure. All right. And then the last one here, Jerry, and we'll get into some questions. The accumulation effect. Every conversation, every offer, every failure, every relationships builds our experience, which builds our skills. If you want to have a strong mindset, you have to develop strong skills.
Powerful.
Guys, the little wins. Did you talk to somebody today? Yes. Great. Did you talk to somebody the day before that? Yes. Did you get a list of properties that you can go and try to reach out to the homeowner? Yes. Did you reach out to the homeowner? Yes. Accumulation effect. It doesn't just happen. It's all about stacking the small wins. And the more that you can fail, the more that you screw up, the more that you fall on your face, the more you feel embarrassed, the more that you feel uncomfortable, the faster it goes.
Yeah, it's Dan Hardy, the compound effect. It's the small, consistent efforts done again and again, day after day, that have the massive transformation in time, right? So, it goes back to that. I love, I may get this wrong, but Brian Tracy once said that, if you take someone of average intelligence, but with very clear defined goals, they'll outwork and they'll outperform someone with a high level of intelligence, but no direction.
Yep.
Something to that effect.
Yeah.
And so it goes back to this idea here where, guys, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. Just be consistent and you'll win.
Yeah. Yeah. Earl Nightingale gives the analogy of a ship leaving harbor. They know where the next harbor is. You don't just get in a ship and just start going around to anywhere and floating around into the ocean, right? That's how you sink. You pick what your harbor is, you go there, and then you pick the next harbor. And you go there and you go there. And it looks like you might be going slow and it might be trucking along. You know, we live in this microwave type world where we all want things done in, you know, a minute, 90 seconds. You know what I mean? But it takes some time, and the accumulation day in, day out, building really great relationships, having really good conversations, comping a lot of properties, all of these things build your skills. And that's the biggest thing. You want to see somebody that has a bulletproof mindset. They have skills. They have developed skills. Strong mindset equals strong skills. That's it. You need those go hand in hand. And so this business is all about our ability to understand personality types, communication types, and be very, very versatile. And in this business, I would say, Jerry, if you look at, you know, I have this question about, you know, it's a different form of PPC, but it's prospect, present, and close, right? That's what I was always taught in real estate. You got to do your lead generation. You got to be able to do your discovery and understand what is the best solution and present the best solution to them. And you need to be able to close it. You need to be able to get a commitment out of people. And I say, which one's the most important? Is it the lead generation? Is it the presentation? Or is it the close? And I would say 70% of people say it's prospecting. It's the lead generation. Without leads, you got nothing. And then other people go, no, without getting a signed agreement, you got nothing. But truly, it is the discovery process. It is your presentation to really pull out what is the goal of that property owner. What is their goal? And really understand what is their goal so you know how best to serve them. And when you know that you're really good at discovery, when you're really good at having that conversation, your presentation, you will do more lead generation. You'll do more because you know that you can really be of value and of service. And we all want to be of value and service. None of us want to think that we're just going out there and we're swindling and we're just using this, you know, secret, you know, formula to get people convinced to do something against their will. And we're, doing all that. No, we want to feel of value because we're actually listening to what they want and we're trying to match up the solutions to what they want. Because the fact is, in real estate, if people don't want to sell their property, they're not going to sell their property. They're not going to stick around and sign. They have to sign the closing docs in front of a notary at the end of this thing. Okay? You're not going to bring them in there and make them do it. Right? They're going to do it because they volunteer to do it because that is the end of your discovery process. And you want to serve them. If they want speed and convenience, then they have to work with you on price. If they want a cash as is offer, great. If they want to get retail, great. If they want to just fix it up and rent it themselves again, great. But we have to be able to do the discovery. It's the strongest skill we can build. And we can't build that skill if we're not having those conversations with property owners.
Yeah, that's the people skill part of this, where you're really connecting, understanding, learning, uncovering the pillars, asking the right questions, using the right tone, like all those things. That's the skill part. Definitely.
Yep. All right, let's get in here. Ed asks, how does a subject to transaction work when the property owner have a first and second mortgage on the property, Jerry?
Well, I mean, clearly that's going to be a little more tricky because you have both those loans in place. So, you know, you would be taking over both those loans. You'd have to get both those figured out and worked out. I mean, certainly that happens. That's definitely a little bit more of an advanced, I think, kind of deal there because you're going to have to take over both those loans, right? So do you understand what both those loans are? You know, are you able to then do everything you need to take over those loans and service them? And does it all make sense? Does it pencil? You know, you just treat it like two instead of one, but it's no different. You're going to have a first position and a second position and be taking over both of them.
Love it. What's the best lead generation for off market in your opinion, Jerry?
Well, when you say best, you know, you're really, that's kind of a general question. Are you saying most affordable or most effective?
Yeah.
Right. Because so think about it this way: with lead gen, there is free, there is cheap, and there is expensive. And there is, outbound, which tends to be, that's you reaching out to them, which is a lot more work because you don't know when you're going to catch them in their cycle of, and how motivated they are. And then there's inbound, which tend to be very high intent because they're reaching out to you. So inbound marketing tends to be more expensive because now you're going to be doing Google ads, which Brent specializes in, or maybe a PPL, pay per lead, or, direct mail. So you're creating an inbound lead. Those are more expensive channels. So I look at it like this. You're going to be coming into this business at some stage. Either you have no marketing budget and no skills. In that case, maybe you want to start with free and cheap methods. You can get the reps in. You're not spending a lot of money. You're going to go through a lot of learning, right? Put some deals together that way. As you get better, what most of us do is we're more interested in high quality leads. We're willing to pay a lot more for those leads because we'd rather get big wins. We'd rather get deep buys. We'd rather have more quality conversations, not less quality conversations. And we can budget now. So we put the money in, we understand how to close, right? So there's a lot that goes into this question, but I would say I would have to ask you where you at in the journey before I could advise you on what I think you should do next. But, so I don't know, Brent, how would you answer that?
Incredible. You're the best, Jerry. It's the truth. Yeah. So young, Mart V. Listen, I think that, everybody, when you're starting out, I highly suggest that you do this. Nobody does this except for a handful of people, and they win every time. But I'll just say until they don't allow you to do it anymore. But you need to go into Facebook groups in your market that you're in. You need to type in real estate in that area. Real estate Arizona, real estate Phoenix, real estate San Antonio, real estate Texas, real estate whatever, San Jose. And you need to friend request 5,000 people. Get your friends up to 5,000 people in there. And every single day you need to post to your stories, not to your posts, not the regular posts, to your stories. I buy houses cash. Call me and put your phone number every day. This costs nothing. I am telling you, for 7 minutes in a week, for 6 hours a year, you'll make 40 grand or more. You will.
It can't be that easy. It can't be that easy, Brent. That's all I got to do.
If you do it every single day, Monday through Sunday, I buy houses cash. And then when people respond to you, which they inevitably will, it'll be people that want to give you money. It'll be people that want to help you do your title and escrow. It'll be agents trying to sell a deal that they're trying to unload. It'll be agents that want to go look for deals for you. It'll be all of these things. It's going to allow you to build up a really nice referral network, but you got to respond to them quickly, very, very quickly, and make sure that you're enthusiastic and get them on the phone as quick as possible so that you can have a conversation, tell them what you're looking for. Okay? Every day, I buy houses cash, DM me. I buy houses. We have a guy here, Templeton Walker, who at the height did 100 to 200 deals doing nothing but this a year. He did 100 to 200 deals a year doing nothing but send me your deals. And he'd make funny videos and he'd do funny things. You don't even have to do that. You can have a blank background every single day. You could take pictures of anything, do videos of anything, just do it. All right. But let me ask you this, Jerry. If I said to you, Jerry, you can consistently close deals, you're going to make 30,000, but it's going to cost you 10. It's going to cost you $10,000 every deal, but you'll make 30. Could you build a profitable business that way?
I would do that over and over again. So how often can I do that?
How much can I pour in? Right?
Yeah.
What's the most that I can
spend 10, make 30 all day long?
That is the conversation, guys, that the guys at Collective Genius, that Investor Fuel, at all of these big time multi-million-dollar companies, they would jump at that in an instant. One, because not many other people can do that. Not many other people can buy those kind of conversations, right? No, many people don't have the processes to be able to take those leads and convert those leads. Many people don't have the processes or the cash buyer database to get $30,000 per deal, right? And so you got to build up to those things. But I would say without a doubt in my business from last year, without 80% of our income came from pay-per-click.
Yeah.
It's the fastest, best leads that I've ever had, without a doubt. And now we're obsessed with them, and my team's obsessed with them. Now it's this year we've added on TV and direct mail. And the only reason that I felt comfortable doing that is because we have the processes in place to be able to convert those. If you don't, you're just wasting your money. But if you do, you're unstoppable, and you can build real market, build, what is that? Market share. There it is in your area for sure. All right. What do you think of this? Patrick Real Estate asks, what does Trump 2.0 mean for the markets, Jerry?
I mean, confidence is up. Everyone's excited. I think there's so much confidence in the market that that's going to be a great thing. I mean, there's still the fundamentals, like if you look at real estate, interest rates are still a little bit high. They're going to be a little weird this year because I don't think there's going to be a lot of motivation to lower them because, everything's doing well. And so the inflation's still a big priority. So I think we're going to see inflation. I think we're going to see interest rates kind of, I don't know, up and down this year. There's still an inventory problem. So I don't know. I mean, all the predictions right now, when you look at, like, I've been reading a lot on this, like Zillow and everybody's predictions are that appreciation is going to be pretty flat this year. But I mean, we had double digit growth in 21 and 22. So, I mean, come on. So, but I think it's, I said this a couple of weeks ago, Brent, I think to me, I'm looking at real estate as this is a solid fundamentals year. And when I say fundamentals, I mean, I don't think we're going to see crazy appreciation happening. You're going to want to really understand your market, really understand your numbers. You're going to want to buy right. I mean, honestly, I feel like my mantra this year is just buy right. Like everything goes better. You win big when you just buy good deals. Like just get good deals.
Yep.
Get out of the margins. Stop playing the fringes. Go deeper. Hold out for your number. Walk from a skinny deal. Do bigger deals is what I'm talking a lot about. Do bigger deals. Get a better spread on that deal. And life gets better. Everything gets easier in this business.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch the inventory, Patrick. Watch the inventory. How many properties are available and how many are selling? How many months of inventory? And if it's above 3 months of inventory, flippers are going to be more conservative. And if you're selling ugly houses to flippers, they're going to be tighter on their numbers. They're not going to see that, everything's going crazy and they can put anything into a house. They got to put better materials into a house. They have to have better agents that cost more to sell their house. They have to make sure that their inspections are really clean and everything's done really well, because they can't go, hey, listen, you take this property as is, or I'm going to take these backup offers, right? Like, guys, remember this, when there's inflation, that means that there's too much money in the system. There's just too much money. They put 2 trillion, 4 trillion, whatever it is, of pandemic money out there. And so everything got more expensive. So what happens is the Federal Reserve raises their rates because they're the vacuum to suck out the money from us. Our mortgages are more, car payments are more, credit cards are more, anything with interest is more, anything that goes through a bank, which is most things for most Americans, is now more. So they suck out all that money so that inflation doesn't stay high. That's how they adjust that. Right. Yeah. And so because there's still, some inflation, they're going to keep it there. And and so the interest rates aren't going to change. So you're going to see a flatter market for a while. And keep an eye on new homes being built.
Yep.
Fact is, there was generations from the 70s on. Every generation was building an incredible amount. You can look at it. You could Google how new homes built by decade, and it is a shocking graph, because you see, as soon as the 2010 hit, 2000 to 2020, it is way down, and then right when it was coming back up, the world got shut down. Yeah. And so we're still dealing with some of that. And so, I don't think that there's going to be huge jumps, which means you got to be really, really good at understanding what your buyers are buying and what it's costing them to be able to repair and fix these houses and do it fast. They want to sell them as fast as possible. So they're going to put better stuff and have better people working for them. Barry, this question is for Jerry. I've watched your as-is formula calculation. Which type of wholesale deals do I use that calculation for?
So that quick analysis is where what it is Brent, is you take the Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, you take their algorithm of the value they're giving a property, which is the as-is value. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a percentage of that as your exit number, back out your wholesale fee. That's your buy price. So it's really cool because it eliminates comping for ARV, and it eliminates trying to figure out repairs in the equation. And it just really simplifies it. So for that, I mean, that's all wholesale deals. Any deal that you're looking to wholesale, that's where that calculator can be really effective and come in super handy, because again, it's not so much a wholesale thing as it is, I'm looking at a direct to seller lead. I need to put an offer in front of that seller. How do I get to a number where I can feel pretty confident about it, knowing that I could take that to a buyer and exit that deal and make a fee, right? And so that's what that's for. It's really for any deal that you're looking to wholesale to a cash buyer.
And do you, Jerry, what we're finding is we're looking at like the West Valley versus the Southwest Valley versus Central Phoenix versus, the Chandlers, the Mesas, the East Valleys. They're all different percentages. All of them are all like plus or minus like 5 to 10% in some of these areas. And what I really look at is when I'm looking at Zillow or Redfin, I use my MLS, but for everybody that doesn't have access to the MLS, I'm looking for, is there a lot of actives here? Is there a lot of opportunities here? If there's a lot active in this area, you got to be, first of all, you got to be the best house, the best looking house, and you probably got to be 5 to 10% lower than everybody else to sell the house fast, because there's too many options.
Yeah.
There's too many options, and that'll really affect where the buyers are looking. We have we have worked with guys for years, Jerry. They won't even touch certain areas. They're like, it's a bloodbath out there. It's a dumpster fire. I don't even want to mess around with it unless you basically give me the deal. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, so true.
Go ahead.
Do you think sending those types of deals hurts relationships with buyers?
The question is, do you think sending those types of deals hurts relationships with buyers? If you don't get feedback, if they give you feedback and you keep sending it to them, sure. But if you're adjusting your numbers based on what you're hearing, and the interesting thing is when you're really in tune with your buyers, they're going to tell you where you should be focusing your efforts. You know what I mean? Not only that, but they're going to tell you, and when you go on a appointment to lock up a deal and there's 2 or 3 other offers and they're getting super aggressive in a very slow area, you stay in front of that seller after they sign with somebody that promises them too much and then beats them up on price, and they cancel, then you go in and then you get it even lower than what they wanted. So it's really strategy when they accept, we've gotten a lot of deals where we were the second offer, the third offer, you know what I mean? And as long as somebody's not throwing a memorandum on every property and being a scumbag, then you're good.
I think too, like segment your buyers list as much as you possibly can, learn your buyers buy box and don't send them stuff that they don't want to see. You're just going to burn them out, especially if they tell you, here's what, only send me this area, this type of deal. And then you send them stuff that's not in that, then they know you're not listening. They know you don't really know what they're looking for. They stop taking you serious. They stop opening your emails. It's work, but the better you understand your buyers and the more you can send them exactly what they're looking for, the better that relationship will be.
Juan says, hey, Brent, for door knocking pre-foreclosures, you pull the county list, skip trace, knock them. And once you get a contract, you submit to their lender to stop the process or find a lawyer for the seller. Yeah, Juan, exactly. Listen, they don't want to foreclose. They truly don't. They truly don't want to go through that whole process typically. And so if you have a signed agreement with that seller, they will typically postpone the auction. They'll postpone it and give you the time to be able to get that closed, right? And so you just got to make sure that you're really communicating with them, sending them everything that they need for them to make the decision to postpone it. but they typically will. I mean, it's you know, they have a lot of pressure not to foreclose on properties for sure, from investors and from the government. So, yeah. Galen asks, Jerry, you being a flipper, what numbers do you see as far as price per square foot on common flips, 3-2 house under 400,000 to 500,000?
Well, I mean, that's going to depend on every single market you look at, right? Because price per foot is going to vary based on the market you're in. It could be $200 a foot, it could be $100 a foot. I look at it more like, you know, do I understand value? Do I understand what's going on at the ARV level as a buyer? And I need to really understand my formula. For me personally, I really stick hard to the 70% formula. I know a lot of flippers will go 75. Some markets that are super hot go even higher than that. I don't like to go there just because if I'm going to go through the effort of buying it, hiring contractors, renovating, and all of that, borrowing, all of that, I want to win. And so I want to make sure I've got a really healthy margin. I want it so that if I screw up the deal, I still make money, not I screw up the deal and lose money. So I kind of go at it that way. And I'm willing to be picky. I'm willing to be selective. I'm willing to say no to deals that don't fit that criteria. So that's more what I'm focused on is, can I really understand the value? Do I really understand that ARV? 70% of that, I want to have a healthy budget so I can go in there and do the rehab right. And if I can buy at that number, then that's what I look for in a deal.
Awesome. Sam asked, Brent, did it take you 7 years to become a millionaire after taxes? It took me a lot longer than that, Sam. I was, I started this business when I was 22, fresh out of college in 2004. And I wanted to build the next Remax. I wanted to build a brokerage. I wanted to build a next brand and thought that would be great. It'd be like investor, but it would also be real estate agent and all these other things. And I got my real estate license and started being an agent and started, working for some investors and went out on my own after a couple of years, started my own brokerage, recruited about 45 to 50 agents to work at that brokerage, had a big 7,000 square foot office that I signed an office lease on January 2008 for 10 years with a personal guarantee and no attorney involvement looking at the paperwork, and it crashed. But the interesting thing, Sam, is I always paid myself like, I'll just pay myself $5,000 a month. I'll just pay myself $6,500 a month. I'll always pay myself $7,000 a month because there was like a weird security to it. There was a weird thing. My financial thermostat wasn't big enough to be a real millionaire. You know what I mean? I think I closed this deal in like 2007 and the commission was like $30,000. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to put it into my bank account. I'm only going to take this amount, but I'm going to go and invest in, all sorts of, tools at the time and different, I wanted to hire people and bring them in so I didn't have to do the business anymore because I thought I was above that. And it was a huge mess. So one, keep the money. That's how you actually build it up and actually, provide for your family and build long-term and be able to buy assets. And two, I would say 99% of people in this business are not going to exit their business. This is a cash flow business. This is a lifestyle business. This is a, be able to build something that is an ATM machine for you for a while. But most people are not going to just buy it from you for a multiple. Okay. And so knowing that, I would have looked at it differently. I would have kept the money. I would have not made stupid decisions that, somebody in their, upper 20s makes. And I wouldn't have bought, I wouldn't have gotten the crazy cars. I would have kind of pushed things off further and saved more money, but I didn't have those skills, Sam. And so it took me a lot longer. But once I did have those skills, once I was able to crawl back out of that, and once I discovered what wholesaling was, I decided to keep the money. And I didn't hire anybody. For years, 6 years of just cold calling from 2011 to really 2017. All I did was just cold call and did all the deals, and gave me great discipline. And I kept all the money, and I settled debts, and I paid taxes or filed taxes too. You know, I was doing all the stuff you're supposed to do as an adult, and got out of it. And so, you know, my advice to everybody is let this be a cash machine. Keep the money. Use this equation to run your business. Income minus profit equals your expenses. Income minus the profit you want to take home to yourself and your family, and make it something gangster. Make it like $20,000 a month. Make it $30,000 a month. And that'll keep you disciplined from getting into too many expenses. People think that people are silly with like Lamborghinis and like, you know, getting into like payments on stupid stuff like boats or, you know, I don't know, whatever else, certain, you know, technologies or whatever that you spend a bunch of money on. It's really your business will suck you dry. You're going out and hiring people too early will suck you dry. Going out and spending way too much on tools that you don't need when all you need is a phone, a name and address and phone number for somebody that owns an ugly house. Keep it lean for a long time and keep that money for sure. That's what's going to help.
Is there, I know this is tough to say, but is there like a certain percentage that you'd say? That like
a certain percent?
Yeah,
I don't like percent. I like going, what do you want to take home? What scares you? Is it 40 grand to you a month? You know what I mean? Is it 80? Is it 12? Is it 15? It's different for everybody. It's different for wherever. I mean, the cost of living is much different in Phoenix and Scottsdale than it is in, you know, Albuquerque or Oklahoma. You know what I mean? It's just, it's different. You know, you make $500,000 in, you know, Kansas City. It's different than, you know, $500,000 in San Diego. You know what I mean? So it's different for everybody, but it needs to scare you. It needs to get you out of bed. It needs to be like, you know, the big, hairy, audacious goal. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, yeah, it took me a lot long. I screwed it all up. Hi, Jerry. I'm part of the 10K club. Is bank properties included in the program?
Yes, but bank properties are not assignable. So a short sale or, you know, if it's an REO property, yeah, you cannot assign those. So, you know, you would have to either acquire it in a new LLC and then we buy the LLC, or we'd have to double close it or figure something out there. So, but certainly, yeah, if you've got a good bank property, we'll definitely look at that.
Love it. Carson asks, hey, Brent and Jerry, love you guys showing up every week. What are your thoughts on the new TCPA one-to-one law coming out January 27th? How is this going to affect agent outreach and direct to seller?
Yeah, Carson reached out to me. I haven't had a chance to get back to him. I mean, I'm still trying to get my head around it a little bit, Brent. I'm doing some research on that, but this is part of that, they're mandating that you get consent, right? Explicit individual consent from consumers to receive marketing calls or text. Yeah. So what's your take on it, Brent?
Well, again, is when you call and ask somebody if they would consider an offer, is that considered marketing?
That's the question.
That's the goofy area, right? And
because we're buyers, not sellers.
Correct.
For one. Now, is that a loophole, or is that? I mean, are they gonna? Does that matter?
You know, I think that. So I'm having Eric Allen. He's incredible. He's out of Salt Lake. He's a TCPA attorney that I've ran everything by in my business and coaching since 2016. And I'm having him. I've got a bunch of I've got a mastermind for my PPC agency. My PPC clients are coming in, incredible people, and we're going to bring him on and do a Zoom with him. So I'll ask and I'll record it and I'll put it up and give everybody, you know, that's the better. I've had a lot of conversations with them. I think that from what I've taken from him, I think the big call centers that are calling for a lot of people and sending you leads, I believe that they have to disclose that they're sending you these leads once they get it in, and whether or not they do that, who knows? And if they don't, they have to get written permission for you to reach out to them if it's a company that you hire. I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. But I think that people just individually calling, I think that's the least of that's more policed by the people that you're calling, right?
And I don't think this is going to affect agent outreach. I mean,
no.
And agents asking for you to call them. I mean, it's what they do. It's their business, right?
It will if you're trying to use AI, Jerry.
Yeah,
I mean, I see it all the time on my feeds. It's like call 1,600 people in 30 seconds. That's the ad. That's the ad.
Yeah, the ad's already violating the law just by telling you what they're doing. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh, this is just bananas. But you're like, well, you know, some people go, well, I got nothing to lose. What are they going to do? They're going to take stuff from me. I don't have anything. I don't care. Right. But it's just right. That is the mentality of like, if you don't have anything, why not? Right. You know what I mean? But you can't build a long lasting business that way. Yeah. And so you're building your foundation of your business off of one, not really building skills, and two, you know, everything times 0 is 0.
Yeah, you know, people are all the time like, oh, well, I got a workaround for that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe, but a workaround is not a business model. Especially like all this regulation, they're like, well, I got a workaround. Guys, you want to build a foundational business, something that lasts. You don't want to be looking over your shoulder. Oh, did I do something? I'm sneaky. I'm trying to sneak and play under and fly under the radar. Like, what is that? That's not a business model. You know, do things the right way.
Yeah, but it's sexy. God, it's so sexy. I get it. You see it on Instagram, you see it on Facebook. You're like, oh man, people are posting these checks and they're not doing anything, and it's so easy. And they've got these big companies. Oh, I'm going to learn from them. Oh, it's going to be amazing. They got this new secret thing that none of the gurus know. And they're talking about you, Jerry. Okay, they're talking about you. How dare you go out and say hard work wins? Yeah. Right? You don't need that if you have AI. AI is what the youngster, that's what the new generation's all about, Jerry. Yeah. All of this doing work stuff, no way. that is for the birds. That's for you old folks. You guys go do that. We're going to go do all this fun, you know, new tech stuff. It never lasts.
It's funny, Brent. I'm in this, I was in this heavy negotiation on this project I'm doing with my hotel in Puerto Rico. And we're raising money, and there's a pretty big lender involved. Lender has a lawyer. We're going back and forth on loan docs and terms and recording, all these things. And this lawyer representing the investor just so difficult to work. Every time we turn around, like they got a whole new set of things that they want revised and all this stuff. Well, in one of the emails, he must have been in a hurry, and he sent over this email, and he didn't delete all his AI prompts. And so you saw the entire AI conversation. And then I don't know if you know this, but there's sites where you can put that in AI, and it will tell you what percentage of AI created that. And it was like a 99.9% match. This lawyer was just putting stuff in AI, and it was spitting out, and then he would just copy and paste it over to us. And then my lawyer team is like, what in the world is going on here? What a mess. They want us to make what changes? This doesn't make any sense. And I had to reach out to this lawyer, and I said, look, you forgot to delete your AI prompts. This is 100% match that you're using AI to do this. And you can get, there's case study now where lawyers are disbarred from using AI. Like, you can't do that.
Sure.
And he was just being lazy, and he's just giving us these prompts from AI, and it was like a mess. I was like, what a joke, dude.
You know, maturing in this business and just maturing as an entrepreneur, you realize that just because somebody has a law degree doesn't mean they know what they're doing.
Oh my gosh, I learned that a long time ago. Yeah.
Right. But I will also say, you shouldn't be intimidated by attorneys. You should find really great ones, and they should be part of your personal board of directors for your business. Mm-hmm. Because one, they're very good at giving you really good advice, but also they come across some unbelievable opportunities.
And Brent, you can't be in business long enough without being in lawsuits. I have lawsuits I have initiated, and I'm in lawsuits where I'm the defendant. I'm probably in 5 or 6 lawsuits at any given time because I'm doing enough business. I'm just doing enough. I'm just doing a lot of things.
Yep.
So, you know what I
Can you
mean?
imagine like Tesla or like,
yeah, I can't
some
even
of these,
imagine.
like Amazon
Oh
or
my gosh.
Walmart or something. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got like, 1,000
In-house attorneys. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's the best way to identify and approach motivated sellers in a small community like Sandusky, Ohio, while building trust?
By the way, have you ever been to Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio?
I've never.
Oh my gosh. It's like they have all the records for roller coasters, like speed, height, all the things. Yeah, it's a roller coaster park in Sandusky, Ohio.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. You got to
I
go.
would love that.
So what's the question? What's the best way to identify and approach motivated sellers in a small community? I don't know that I would approach them any different there than I would anywhere else. I don't know. What would you do anything different?
Yeah, what I would do is I would start a Facebook page about the community.
Okay.
Post about events, have VAs go in and post about events and post about everything that's going on. And then just, talk about that, you're looking for a property in original condition for somebody that, maybe isn't ready to put it on the market yet. You'd love to have a conversation. And I think that would work out really, really, really well if you became the person that people, brought project homes to, and you're known for that and you do a really good job. But just remember, the smaller the town, the more people are going to watch you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're going to make sure that you're doing everything right.
I got a student, Jason Baca. Maybe you know Jason, awesome guy. He's in like rural Pennsylvania somewhere, and he gets a lot of deals on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And he'll put on, and he'll go on all the Facebook groups. Like, it doesn't even matter what group it is, a horseback riding group. And he'll put on there, hey, looking for a real estate deal. If anybody's looking to sell something, on those small groups like that in those rural markets, and gets all kinds of deals. It's great.
Yep. This is a great question to wrap up the show. Thank you guys. Thank you for participating. Remember that Wholesale Hotline is on all of the podcast platforms. So make sure that you check that out. We have episodes every single day between Pace, Jamil, Jerry, and myself. This is on there, and a lot of the other live shows that we do and podcast interviews. It's all it all gets filtered down into that podcast, and it's phenomenal. So definitely check that out. And if you feel really awesome, give us a review. That would really help us out. That'd be awesome. Sierra asks, such a great episode. If I'm going for decent margins on my deals and I'm direct to agent, sniper, shotgun, and reload, why does it seem like other cash buyers can pay way more than me on these deals?
Yeah. Well, this is a great question, Sierra, and you're actually on the right track, because if you think about it, if you're going direct to agent, then you're probably competing with end buyers, because a lot of flippers will work with agents and they'll buy direct from agents. So if you're competing with flippers, then they can offer where you need to exit, right? You need to be under that flipper. So when that happens and you're noticing that, now again, this would be if you're $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 off, then you're right on track. Just stay with it. Now it's about the relationship, because what I found is once I've created a strong enough relationship with an agent, that agent will get me those deals. I'll be the first one they call. They'll tell me where I need to be sometimes, or what terms would come in really good. I just find a way to get the deal because of the relationship, not because of the price. When you have no relationship, price is everything. Whatever's the best price gets the deal. I don't want to compete on price. I want to be able to create relationships where I'm the only one the agent calls on that lead, where they sat down with a seller and they don't want to list it and it's off market right now. Like, I want that call. And so that's all about that relationship. So I would say, first of all, don't get discouraged, because my guess is you don't have a large enough sample to consider what you just put here as fact. Meaning, just because you've had 20 conversations or 30 conversations doesn't mean that that's fact now that you can't get deals. Stay with it. Like, I'm doing this. She's talking about the sniper, shotgun, reload. This is a method I call the 5-5-5. That's 5 offers with listed properties. That's 5 outbound calls, and that's 5 follow-up calls. That's 15 quality conversations a day. We're talking about hundreds and thousands of conversations over a month. You will get deals. It's just the stars will align and you'll get deals. But are you doing it enough? Are you having those quality conversations? Are you building that connection with these agents? Hugh Boy in Atlanta, he does $1 million a year just with agents.
Yeah.
Just with agents. And most of that's off market. Very few of those are listed properties. Most of it's off market. So they're calling him with their off market leads, and then he picks up the deals. Okay. So it works. You just got to stay with it.
Yeah. And remember, Sarah, whenever it hits the market, there's going to be different people that have different strategies for that property, right? Some people might want to buy and hold it. Some people might want to flip it. Some people might want to live in it. Some people want to buy it for their family to live in it. They might want to bulldoze it just for the lot. They might want to, whatever. There's just different levels of recognizing potential that people can pay more for. There's a chart that we have, and I'll bring it up next episode, but of like the buyers that pay the most for certain properties. You might have people that are buying for hedge funds. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there's just, once it hits the market, it's exposed to the world. And that means that there's going to be different people with different strategies. And
I would add,
they're probably going to do a formal inspection, maybe not, and try to retrade, try to get a price reduction if they're just trying to beat.
That's what I was going to say. I would say, Sierra, track those too. So when you go after one and you're like, oh, I lost out to somebody else, track that to closing, see what it actually sold for, and then see if you can get your head around who that buyer was. Like, who bought that? Was that a flipper? Was that a wholesaler that did that deal? And how far off was I? Because at the end of the day, our formula for wholesaling is, what do the buyers pay less my fee? That's really the formula, isn't it? So figure out what they're paying. What are they buying in your market? What's the going number for those types of deals that you're trying to go after? And the better you understand where stuff trades at, the better you know where you need to be at, so you can carve out your wholesale fee. And that's it. We're just trying to carve out our wholesale fee out of what the market's willing to pay right now in that specific market with that type of property. Your job's to figure that out. So I would say get away from any kind of formula you got stuck in your head or any of that kind of thing. You need to adjust real time with what your market's doing. And the only way to do that is to learn what those buyers are paying.
Love it. Great show, Jerry.
Yeah, awesome. Love hanging out with you, Brent.
Me on here. You too. You're the master. You're incredible. So anything coming out this week?
Got some, just some great stuff. We're getting ready to launch in PropWire something we're really excited about, called Premium Leads. And we're really excited. This is going to be courthouse leads that you can't get anywhere else. This will probably be maybe next week, I think, when we're ready to launch that. So be on the lookout for that. I'll put some stuff out on that. And I've got a live event I'm doing end of next week in Puerto Rico, so be busy with that. But yeah, lots going on. I'm just fired up for the year, Brent. Super excited to make 2025 the best year ever. Yeah, me too. Awesome. Guys, if you have not subscribed to Jerry's channel, make sure that you get over there and subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the Brent Daniels YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe, as well as Jamil Damji and Pace Morby. We should all be back next week. We love you guys. Go out there and talk to people. We'll see you next week. See you guys. Bye.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3. So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.